The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.
All right, welcome everyone. We're so glad that you can join us on the Habits of Health call tonight. We are so excited for tonight's call because it's going to be amazing. And before we introduce our guest speaker, I wanted to just welcome everyone on. And you may be a client, you may be a health professional, you may be a health coach, or maybe you're just looking into Take Shape for Life and checking us out and seeing what we're all about. But no matter who you are, we want to welcome you on, and we hope that you get a lot of value tonight and learn a little more about health. And it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, lovingly known to all of us as Dr. A. And he's a New York Times bestselling author and co-founder of Take Shape for Life. And I just wanted to just give you a little bit of background on Dr. A. So he was first in his family to go to college and to graduate with honors from the University of Florida with a degree in science. He went on to medical school at the University for the Health Sciences in Kansas City, where he was valedictorian of his graduating class. He interned at Grandview Hospital and trained in open heart surgery at Cleveland Clinic before going on to train for 2 additional years at Jackson Memorial Hospital at the University of Miami. He then went on to become the 10th physician board certified in critical care. And Dr. A is a personal mentor and friend of mine. I have gotten to know him really well over the last 8 years, and he's a great friend. So Dr. A, are you there?
I am, Amber, and thank you so much. And I'm really excited tonight, to be here with you and David. And you guys have been just so powerful advocates of this system of lifestyle change, and actually amazing in your ability to help guide people onto a better life.
Well, we're just so excited for tonight. We have a Q&A session with Dr. A. So everyone who is on live, you're in a treat. You're in for a treat because you get to actually click on the Q&A button that you see on your Zoom and ask a question. And so this is kind of a fun thing to do, that you have Dr. A right here in your living room or on your phone and right at your fingertips. So we probably can't get to every single question that comes in, because I know we have hundreds of excited people on tonight. But one question I wanted to start you off with, Dr. A, was submitted earlier. And this question, she asks, I have been struggling with losing weight and gaining it back. And she wants to know, what's the secret behind being able to keep that weight off long term?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. And first of all, do we have her name?
The name is Susan.
Susan. So Susan, just first of all, rest assured that many people struggle. In fact, many people have tried diets, and for the last decade, we've been talking about diets don't work. 85% of people that lose weight gain it back within 2 years. So our approach is very different. It really is more about helping you change your orientation towards health, because you're in a conflicting structure. And one of the things that's very important is to understand, if you're hungry, you eat, and then you're full. But if you eat too much, then you become overweight. And if you become overweight and you start to diet, then when you diet, then you become hungry again, and then you want to eat again. So, we can use willpower for a short period of time, but willpower is a depletable resource. And we live in a time when energy-dense food is all around us. We usually have a sedentary lifestyle. We spend a lot of time sitting. The average American spends about 5.5 hours sitting per day. We're stressed, we emotionally eat. There's a lot of reasons, and food seems to be all around us, and that food is full of a lot of calories. And it really doesn't satisfy us, because the food industry is actually masters in addictionology, and they actually make the food full of sugar and salt and things that your body craves, and they do it in a pattern so it never really satisfies you. So you have a lot of stuff going against you. So what we do, we like to take a system, a comprehensive system that we developed by listening to so many people over a long period of time, and put it together to now change your focus. So we happen to use fuelings to start, because what they do is they help you lose weight safely, effectively. And during that teachable moment, what happens is you start having more energy, you feel better, you sleep better, and you're incentivized. And actually, in comparison, the research shows that most people that lose weight and keep it off, they have medical triggers. In other words, they had a heart attack or a stroke or something psychologically affected them so dramatically that it shifted their focus. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to wait for people to be sick. So what's nice about the fuelings, you can lose weight safely and effectively. And during that time period, we use all the things that have been shown comprehensively together, so you can pick and choose from our underlying community the things that you want. So for instance, not only are the fuelings easy, they have multiple different tastes and taste profiles, so you don't get taste fatigue. 2 is you have a coach, someone that's there. One of the key things anytime in success, and why people fail with New Year's resolutions, they try to do it on their own. And without having a plan, having a system, and having accountability, your chances of success are very low. So we give you a plan. The Habits of Health system is a comprehensive approach that addresses all the key things: how you eat, how you move, how you sleep, how you handle stress, and a whole bunch of other things that allow you to, in little baby steps, start to make improvement. And then you start to install these new micro habits. And as you learn those, it takes the pressure off of your discipline. It takes about 2 months. The more recent research out of London says it's about 66 days on average for you to install a new habit. Now, what that means is you're going to have to use some discipline. And in the beginning, we try to make the habits so small and the changes so small that you can't say no, you can't refuse. In fact, it's so easy that you do it routinely, and then you do it day after day. And what happens is your brain is very intelligent, and it starts changing. There's an area called the basal ganglia in the middle of the brain, and it starts automating that process. And as it automates the process, you see the amount of effort it takes to continue to do the same thing goes down. In the beginning, willpower, yeah, you may use a little bit of that, but more importantly, you're going to have your coach, have your system, and have a whole underlying support system through our community, where you're now around like-minded people. And we're more likely to model the people who we're around and be reminded by. And then one of the other cool things is there's also the opportunity for coaching. And you know, one of the things that my goal is for people to become coaches, not just clients, but eventually become coaches, because I know that it becomes forthright in their mind, and they're doing it all day long. And when you start helping other people, and you're grateful, and you're getting this amazing people are grateful for you helping them, all those things go back to how we were designed, and they put you in much better position. Now, it still comes up to you to make the decision that you want to create health. And what I like to do, and what we talk about with our coaches, is actually leading from the future, actually like you're in the future. So in other words, start visualizing what it's going to be like when you're at your healthy weight, the things you can do with your family, with your friends. Maybe there's sports or travel you'd like to do. Maybe you'd like to climb up to to one of the Mount Rushmore. Or, I don't know what you want to do, but visualize those things like you're in that future, and then move back to this moment, and then start making your choices. And the other thing, which we're just finding out from looking at fMRIs, are that most people, if we looked at Amber and I looked at our brain scans, they'd be very different. And actually, Amber's just got modified, and she's created amazing health. And that's where medicine helps, right? Amber helped you in that particular circumstance. But the other part is when we look into the future, our MRIs look like strangers, because we don't tightly associate where we are today with our future. So one of the things about that is helping you through little baby steps. Start knowing that the things you do today have a dramatic effect on your future. And then what we do is we work backwards so that you now know the immediate benefits that come. So for instance, if you go to bed an hour earlier, you get up that next day, yes, it's better for your health, and you're going to live longer. Every time you sleep and get a good night's sleep, it adds about 3 hours to your life. So it's a pretty important, decreases inflammation, lowers your risk of infection, immunological diseases, lowers your risk of cancer, lowers your risk of heart disease, depression, and dramatically improves your effectiveness at your work or whatever you do, being there in your relationships. So all these things work together. So what we would do is say, you know what, let's start working on things we can do to maybe restructure your house and your bedroom so you can sleep better, and all these things cascade over there. Now, I know I went through a lot in a hurry, and we want to make sure other people can hear, but the point we're making is, you know, like Amber and David are great examples of coaches that have mastered the habits of health, and they master being guides to help empower you. So now in little baby steps, we'll set the course, and then you go at the speed that works for you.
I love that, Dr. A. I think that it's so important to be part of the community and have that support with the Fuelings, and that would make a big difference for long-term success. I agree.
Yep. Cool.
We have another question here that I thought was a great question from Connie Lemon. And it looks like she's a health coach. She said, my client has lost 43 pounds in 9 weeks, and her husband is concerned that it's too fast. What are your thoughts? She feels fabulous on the 5 and 1 PS.
Well, that's all you need to know. I mean, that's the short answer. The longer answer is, you know, we have lots of concepts about stuff. And if you lose a lot of weight quickly, and if you're not doing it the right way, yeah, you would be in starvation, and you could actually deteriorate your muscles. Even your heart muscle can deteriorate, increase your risk of infection. But our plan is designed specifically to fuel your body with healthy food, balanced protein, carbohydrates, and fat, and give you all the nutrients you need to thrive. What we're actually doing is we're selectively taking that visceral adiposity, that little tire in the middle, and we're targeting specifically at removing that. So your body makes up the difference in calories so that you're getting rid of actually the bad fat. At the same time, you're preserving your muscle mass. So actually, we've helped, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. I've been involved for over 15 years now, and people that have lost weight relatively quickly. It's actually makes the change so dramatic. Going back to the earlier question, it's like having that trigger where you're now in that teachable moment. You feel so much better. You're so much healthier that now you're really incentivized and you don't want to go back. So, by the way, just as you lose that kind of weight, I just want to make sure, because this is a very important thing. The fuelings are the mechanism that allows us to specifically target the body to lose that visceral adiposity, which is very unhealthy. In fact, in the smaller book I wrote, The Discover Your Optimal Health, there's a couple pictures there that show an obese person talking to a doctor and needing like 4 or 5 medicines. By reaching healthy weight, they don't need any of those medicines, because those medicines are targeting different things that are a result of having too much fat in your body. So as you lose that fat, your cholesterol will come down, your blood pressure will come down. We hear it all the time. People are automatically healthier. And then what happens is over time, you start to incorporate the habits. But here's the thing I want to make sure for all our listeners. It's not just the fuelings. The fuelings are a mechanical way that your body now modifies its calories, turns off insulin, and turns off fat storage. But at the same time, the real work, it has to come in here. It has to come from your mind. And it takes about literally a year for your body to fully re-equilibrate. So now you're in position to live at that healthy weight for a long time. So it's really important for people to realize and recognize that's why you need to work with your coach. That's why you want to engage and be active in the community. And that's why you want to continue to learn the habits in little baby steps. So you're now surrounding yourself with a different orientation so you can be successful.
I love that, Dr. A. And you inadvertently answered another question that someone else asked about what is fat burn. So I love it. You're reading their minds. How do you do it?
I love it. Cool.
So, and that leads me to another question that is similar to what you were talking about at the end of that one. Is this one comes from Lisa Robotam, and she says, when someone's overweight, sometimes they tend to be withdrawn. How can we get them into community and get involved? Or maybe they're given the excuse of being too busy to get into the community.
So community can start any way you want it to start. It doesn't have to start with actively talking a lot. You can be a passive person in the community. So, you know, some people, obviously people, you know, there's everything from, you know, as you know, in the book I wrote talking about what we think about ourselves, there's a chapter on identity and being overweight or obesity. And listen, no one's more cognizant. I've talked to thousands of people and I understand, very much about fat prejudice and what it can do psychologically to people. But here's the reality. The reality is, as you start losing weight and you're associating around, even if you're just with the people in the community initially, you start modeling those behaviors. We actually learn, and that's in kids. If you ever noticed in kids in kindergarten, they've done great studies at Stanford on this, but basically they start modeling each other. So it actually passively, if you're introverted in the beginning, you're an introvert, it's okay to start slow. And then what will happen is you'll find like-minded people that are on your journey, maybe heavier than you, or somewhere in the world that may be more gregarious, and they'll want to talk to you, and then you'll be able to become part of it. One thing we're about is making a safe place for all Americans, and our goal as we become a global company is to be a resource for everyone that's interested in improving their health and their well-being is not just accepted but welcomed with open arms. So there's no fear there. We have people from all different nationalities, all different ethnicities, all different weight, people with serious health challenges. We're about helping people become the locus of focus, and the locus of control goes inside, where now you feel no longer helpless or a victim, and now you can move forward and start taking control of your own health and your own life.
That's wonderful, Dr. A. We have another question here from John and Donnie Davison that I think is a really good one. It's about gastric bypass. So they're asking, can you speak to whether our program would be a healthier choice than gastric bypass surgery for long-term success?
The answer is absolutely 100% yes. First of all, the Committee on Celestial Design designed whatever your spirituality is, designed an amazing human. The machinery, I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to study in medical school and take care of people for over 30 years, and in terms of being in medicine, in traditional medicine. And I was just fascinated at the inherent capacity the body has to heal itself. When we take our instruments and we go in and we modify or manipulate the human body, the alimentary canal, which is modified, first of all, the risk of infection goes up, the risk of secondary complications goes up, the risk actually of nutritional dysfunction goes up, where we now have serious nutritional deficiencies because we've now taken a very efficient organ system and we've now taken part of it out. The fourth part is that you're not really changing people the way they think. And because you don't change the way they think, many people actually fail because they can actually find ways to overcome. So you're creating forced portion control without actually using all the other components that we use. And so the answer is, we talk about therapeutic index. Now, gastric bypass can be effective for helping people lose weight, but it isn't necessarily make them healthy. So what we're about is first, primarily making them healthy. And one of the reasons we do that is through helping people learn the habits of health, give them the tools like our fueling, so they can, in a very logical, systematic way, reverse the things that have been caused by overeating.
That's a great answer. I definitely agree that the human body is miraculous in healing itself. I found that with
right?
Okay, I have another question here. I like this one a lot. This one's anonymous. They didn't give their name, but they said, "What's all this Optavia about?"
Well, I love to talk about that. I'm actually writing, our leaders, our 1,000 top leaders are coming into Atlanta in another couple of weeks, and I've been really working on that. And Optavia is the evolution. This idea started about 17 years ago while I was in medicine, just watching us react to disease. And I realized that I was becoming disgruntled. I felt like I was just putting Band-Aids on people. And so we started this idea that we could help people take control of their health and their life. And it's evolved over time. And over the last 15 years, it's been called Take Shape for Life. And we were part of a parent company called Medifast, which actually made meal replacements. And part of that was that it was a weight loss company. And so my goal was always this idea of what is now becoming fully expressioned as Optavia. So Optavia means optimum weight. Now, Take Shape for Life is a name we used in the middle. It was kind of from the corporation came up with it, and I added for life. It was really a corporate logo, and it kind of kind of sounds a little bit like we're talking about a fitness program. And that's okay, because fitness is important, but it really didn't express the full magnitude of what we're doing. The optimum way is we're helping people learn to do what you were just talking about. The body is miraculous. And if we now focus on the key areas of how we think, how we move, how we handle stress, our feelings, our emotions, our well-being, the people we hang out with, what we do to fill our days, when we start really focusing on all those things, we can dramatically alter our present sense. Because where we are now is a result of our past choices. What we can do is we can actually change, though, and it is so much more powerful. In the 25 years and all the medicines and things I had access to, yeah, I got to save a lot of lives. I never made anybody healthy. Never created optimal health for one person. And so what Optavia is the optimum way. The other thing is, because it's one word, our goal is to go out, what am I saying? Globesity.
Globesity.
Globesity. I don't know why I'm having a problem. I guess I've been up too many hours. But anyway, globesity is an international problem. The world is becoming heavier and heavier. And our goal is to first, obviously, we're starting here in the United States and America, but we want to be able to help become a world company. And so the smaller name translates very well. If you look at all the really meaningful, daily relevant brands, like Nike and Amazon and Apple, they're all part of people's lives. They're part of their lives. And so we brought in if I was just actually talking to her about an hour ago, we brought in one of the top experts in the world in conscious, full brand potential, and we worked together to create this name. And so the name really is the next evolution to where we're going as an optimal health company. Our mission is to provide for all those that care for more, to be more in their lives and create a healthier, more healthy well-being for themselves and their family, that we're there for them. So we're very excited. Optavia, Go Global in Atlanta will take the next move on our journey by the summertime. All will be full conversion to Optavia. So it's an exciting time, and time when you're going to start seeing us right up there with Nike, with Amazon, and those other companies that are part of Americans' daily lives.
So as a quick follow-up question, Stephanie wants to know, will there be more Optavia Fuelings that will be available soon?
Absolutely. In fact, there's going to be a bunch more come out. We have a whole cycle we have an amazing technology team that's been working, and our food scientists, our whole research team, they're all working day and night, and they will be filling the pipeline. So you'll have the full gamut of fuelings, all the way from our more exotic products to our core products, which many of the flavors and tastes that people have that they love now will now be added and be given the probiotics, which are really good for our immune system. All that is in the process and will be delivered over this year.
Great. We're so excited, by the way, Dr. A. All the new fuelings.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And new coming out. It's just amazing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question here from Deborah, and she just started today on the Take Shape for Life program, day 1. And she said, I have really high inflammation markers and currently on steroids and just started TSFL today. Will I still be able to lose weight?
That's a great question. So steroids do affect our metabolism. They affect the way we metabolize and use the substrates and things we eat. They also, as you know, Deborah, that if left alone, they actually start to catabolize muscle and can actually add more fat. So what we found is that you'll lose weight slower. It won't be as fast, but you still lose weight. And obviously it's very important to work closely with your physician. And what we find is as we lose fat in our body, our inflammation goes down. And we have people, that now have been, part of us for over 10 years that had things like Sjögren's and different collagen vascular, very high inflammatory markers. And now they're down to what I call ultra health. If you read the Habits of Health, the ultra health section talks about having C-reactive proteins that are very low. So it's very important you work with your doctor. Very important you follow your blood sugar. And what you'll find is working with your doctor that many times, we can't obviously guarantee this, but many times we have so many people that have anecdotally said they've been able to lower their steroids and actually sometimes even come off them. So yeah, it's encouraging. I first of all congratulate you for starting the program, because basically you're taking control of your health and your life, and we know that steroids long term always end up as a bad result. Steroids are fine for a short period of time, but by taking command of your learning the habits of health, reaching a healthy weight, all those things can help you have your body come back more in balance.
Yeah, great question, Deborah. So I have another question here it says the name is community equals common unity. I'm thinking maybe that's Craig Blanchett, I don't know. But it says, are vegetarians at a slight disadvantage to losing weight on the 5 and 1? Do they lose slower because even the best choice veggie protein products have more carbs than meat?
Well, the bottom line, and it goes back to the last question, it goes back to people that have thyroid disease. The bottom line, this is not a sprint. We are changing your orientation, and the speed with which you lose weight is not the primary factor. So when you have these, certain specific things that are specific to you, and you're having something where you might have a little more calories, you're going to lose weight slower. What you do have to do is be careful that you're balancing so you don't have too many carbs, because if you do, you basically put yourself in position. So you can, the nice thing is, you've got avocados, you've got nuts, you've got all these healthy fats, olive oil. These are all, obviously plant-based substances. In fact, I've got 4 books sitting right here. This is a great book by Michael Pollan, basically called In the Defense of Food. But basically, he came out with a decree a few years ago, and I think it's very important, is that mostly a plant-based diet is actually a very good thing. It lowers inflammation. And not only does it do great things for you, but it also does great things for our planet. You start protecting our planet. So both those things are important. So I wouldn't worry about that. Basically, you will lose weight. It'll just be a little slower.
I love that, Dr. A. And I love that you pointed out that it's not a sprint. There's no race here. We're just getting healthy one day at a time.
Absolutely.
And we only have a couple minutes left, but Stephanie says, Dr. A, I love the habits of health, but I heard there is a next iteration coming out. Can you give us a sneak peek on when we can see that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've been so busy. It's in the process. I cannot tell you that yet. My goal obviously is sooner than later. But I can tell you, I've spent the last 2 years specifically really making sure that when it is released, it is actually a quantum leap above the last version. And because I don't want to just create an updated version. I wanted to. My goal is never to sell books, but my goal is to give people tools so they can change their lives. And so I've learned so much. That book was written in 2008, which really now is, God, that's 9 years ago, or over 8 years ago, almost 9 years. And I've learned so much that this one, I'll make sure that it has more about kind of the stuff we're talking about, a lot more about how we think, a lot more about giving us the tools that are necessary. And I'm also having a combined app with it that'll be your daily companion to help you for your habit installation. So, and then also it'll have a life book where you'll actually be able to write in it your journal of your progress with helpful hints in it. So I'm very excited. I don't know when it's going to be out. I just need more time. But I can tell you that it's going to be cool.
Great answer. I love that. To round us out with our last minute, Dr. A, we have a question from David, and he's asking, what's your best Super Bowl tips, especially when I'm faced with the temptation of alcohol?
Yeah, and listen, the idea in life is to create health because you make the choices because those are the choices you want to make. And one of the things, Robert Fritz and I have spent a lot of time working on the creative process. And in the creative process, the goal is what are in the hierarchy of what's more important to you. So if you're going to the Super Bowl or watching the Super Bowl on TV, and it's a particularly very important day for you, you can make some choices. If you've been drinking alcohol and you've been off it for a while, and you associate it, obviously the first thing I'm going to say to you is stay with it. You're doing great, and don't do it. Right? And build fellowship. Watch the game, have conversations, take whatever you drank previously, You can take club soda with a lime. You can do anything to disguise it so you take off the peer pressure. But if you do, something that's relatively innocuous would be something like pure vodka if you have to. And so, and as long as you do it in a small amount without adding any mixer, it's 7 calories per gram. So as long as you only have a small amount for that one day, if it's important to you. But I'll end that, and since I know we're almost out of time. So it depends on how important. People socially drink and they feel like they're missing something they normally do. Just like some people that, they like sugar, but they can do without it. There's people that are addicted to sugar, and there's people that are addicted to alcohol. So if you have a serious addiction to it, and it's something that really kind of knocks you out and takes over, then I would clearly avoid it. If it's a social thing and you can do with it, do without it, and you feel that day in celebration that it's important. What I'm saying is, we never want to absolutely tell you what to do. We want you to make the decision based on what you feel is more important. And if you feel during that one afternoon, it only happens once a year, that basically you'd like to be with your friends and have that, relaxation or whatever that does for you, then do it. Don't not do it and then go drink a fifth of vodka the next day because you're all upset about it. But on the other hand, if it's not that important, kind of refocus on why you're doing this and the bigger goals, and then you can secondarily substitute something like we talked about.
I love that, Dr. A. It's all about the mindfulness, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a great Q&A session. I know that we didn't even get to a 10th of all the questions that came pouring in. They love this. So we just really appreciate your time taking out of your busy schedule to answer.
Well, I love it. I'd rather do this. In fact, if you ever want to have me back, just let me know.
Absolutely.
So for everybody, as you're sitting there tonight, I want to congratulate all of you for taking the time to really focus on what's important, what matters most to you, for your family and for our country and for our world. So God bless, guys.
Thanks, Dr. A.
Right.
And everyone can feel free to stick around. We're going to be playing a quick video from the awesome JC Dornick, who is a certified health coach with Take Shape for Life. And the video gives just a little bit of more information about Take Shape for Life. And maybe you've been just a little curious or wondering about what it means to pay it forward and what that could look like. And so Dr. JC is going to go over some really awesome points. And we hope to see you again next week on the Habits of Health call. Building that community and being here together is what it's all about. Really helps us to stay on that path. So thanks for joining us tonight.
The preceding audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.